All right, let's go. Okay, Tim, what are we going to talk about today?
Well, this is All-Star Weekend, so what did you think of the All-Star game?
I thought it was good. I liked the skills, and that's what it should be. That's what it should be. Not surfboards and stupid things like that.
Well, yeah, like the last two All-Star games were in Vegas and Florida, and they were shooting at surfboards, and they were at the Bellagio fountains, and I think the players...
To see McDavid and Crosby being dunked in the water, it's demeaning. It's demeaning.
Yeah, and I think that's because you heard Connor McDavid say that, right? Like he says, "I'm really happy with the skills." Of course, he won, and he won the $1 million, so of course he was happy with the skills.
I wonder what do you think he did with that $1 million? Think he kept it, or does anyone know? Yeah,
I don't know.
Evidently, he did keep it. I thought he was going to say, "I'd like to donate this to the Rose Cherry Home."
Yeah, right.
So, so McDavid won the fastest skater, which was no surprise.
Yeah.
And then McKinnon did the one-timers. You know, that was fun to watch. The guys were passing the puck.
Yeah, that was good.
And then Pettersson won the passing. And that was the thing they had the hardest. Like, they had, like, little things that you had to hit in the passing. Yeah. And the players were really having a tough time with it.
Yeah, they were.
And then Cale Makar won the hardest shot with 102 miles an hour. But the thing I liked was Kucherov for Tampa. Looked like he had a hangover. And the fans started to boo him.
Oh, he wasn't trying.
No, he wasn't trying. I'm thinking, those Toronto fans, they better be careful. If they meet in Tampa, he's going to remember that. And
he was waving after every time he tried something.
Yeah. And then I liked the 3-on-3 game. It was good.
I thought it was pretty good. I thought the whole thing was pretty good, and it was a test of skills.
Was this one good, or the other two were so bad?
That's a good question.
Okay, now Dad, you're going to answer some questions from our listeners, and this is from Herbert Hoover, the Bees fan, from Twitter. When you did your famous taunt, and that's what they call it, to the Montreal Forum crowd, what was going through your head, and what were you doing it for?
You know, it's a funny thing. Everybody thinks I was doing it for, show and everything like that. Actually doing that there for the crowd. The crowd was calling the penalties. And, and the crowd was calling the penalties. And I was, going like that to the crowd. Everybody thinks I was having a good time.
Well, yeah, because, a lot of people think you did that when there was the too many men, but it wasn't.
No, it wasn't.
There was a bad penalty called on you.
No, it was Rattel. I never forgot Rattel. It was Bob Gainey and John Rattel, two pretty good guys. And John Rattel, Lady Big Winger, got it for high sticking.
I think John Rattel had 2 penalties all year.
Yeah, it was one of the few. And I knew then this referee was trying to get them back in the game, and he did.
Well, the referee was
Bob. And I fell right into it.
Yeah. Well, that referee was the same referee that called that penalty on Tiger Williams.
Absolutely. Out of a clear blue sky, Tiger Williams just rubbed the guy along the boards, and he gave him a 2-minute for boarding. And you know who got in there was Robinson. Robinson on the other team had to grab a hold of him.
Yeah, you Google that if you want. Tiger Williams going crazy. It was in overtime in Toronto.
Yeah.
It was Montreal-Toronto in overtime in the playoffs.
They wouldn't have won it anyhow.
No. But it was just a nothing play.
Yeah.
And he gave him a penalty.
For 2 minutes for boarding.
And I think Guy scored the winner, and Tiger was going after him. You're right.
Yeah. And two of the players grabbed him. 2 of the Toronto players grabbed him. And then Robinson grabbed him too. I never forgot that. Anyhow, I knew when Rattel got the penalty, and I think Gainey was embarrassed. I could still see it. He's running across, and he just brought a stick back like that and held the stick back so he wouldn't get hurt.
So did you hear about it from the NHL, about you razzing the fans and getting them
all
upset?
I never heard. No, I got chastised that afternoon, believe me. I did, by John Ziegler.
And, for what?
He says, if it was anybody else besides you and Scotty Bowman, he says, I'd nail you to the cross, and especially you. I said, you're saying that we're illegal.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you said in the paper, you said if we go to Montreal in Game 7, you could say, that we're going to get stiffed by the refs.
Yeah.
And Ziegler didn't like that. And then Scotty Bowman was, remember, he'd get the video and he'd show all the penalties that the referees didn't call.
Boy.
You and Scotty Bowman were really playing head games with each other.
Yeah, but
you really were.
Didn't make any difference, so he still won.
What did you say to him? I can't believe I'm getting beat by a guy that wore...
Yeah, I remember that. And I remember we were having a meeting, the whole thing, and he brought us in a little room, and I kept staring at his socks, and he wore blue socks with a brown outfit. I never forgot that. And I mentioned they were hush puppies, and he said they weren't. They were wallabies.
Yeah, he said, I can't believe I'm getting beat by a guy that's wearing blue socks and brown hush puppies.
How did that make it into the newspaper?
I don't know. Don't ask me.
It must have been a leak or something.
Oh, I probably said it.
Dad, is it true that when you went to Montreal, that you believe that they put a guy, it was a stick boy or something, in the dressing room to let you look at the sticks and the whole deal?
You know, I often thought of that myself, and I think I was a little paranoid at the time. And I did. I wouldn't let him look at the sticks, but he looked.
I remember he was a short guy, white hair, right?
Yeah, white hair.
You see him in some of the clips sometimes.
Yeah.
You kicked him out of the dressing room.
So you thought that he was looking at the sticks to see if there was illegal ones that he could then squeal to Montreal to say, "Go check the sticks that for illegal."
I remember
turf.
Schmatzy at the end of the period, but 5 minutes to go. Schmatzy. And he changed the sticks. They were illegal. Nobody wants to call illegal sticks on the other team because there's illegal sticks on your team.
You say that and you kind of laugh, but look at what happened with Marty McSorley in the playoffs. You know, and you wonder, how did they know that he had an illegal stick?
Yeah, they had a spy in your thing, and so you actually made them take the illegal sticks the last 5 minutes of the game to switch them.
Oh, I had Schmatzy's stick because his was ridiculous. Kirby had it on his stick.
Yeah, you wouldn't let me use his stick.
No.
I used Ricky Middleton's. I was using Schmatzy's, but I couldn't handle the puck. It was such a curve on it. You can't use his. Don't use his stick.
He could sure shoot a puck.
Okay, the next one, Dad, is Grapes of MT. It's Montana, actually. I looked that up.
What is it?
Grapes of MT, and I think it stands for he's from Montana.
Really?
Yeah. From Twitter. What did Peter McNabb mean to your Bruins team?
Well, he was our leading scorer. I think he got 48 goals one year, didn't he?
Yeah. Terry O'Reilly was distraught after the thing. He says, all I needed to get you 2 more goals to get 50. Terry was very upset.
Well, Peter McNabb was our leading goal scorer, and if you don't score goals, you don't win hockey games. And the funny thing is, I never appreciated, when you're a coach, you're really into it, and I never appreciated Peter, and I used to kid him all the time.
Was it kidding, or you used to pick on him a lot?
No, I used to pick on him. He knew I was just having fun with him.
I remember the one time you were saying that, remember about the face-offs? You were giving him heck because he wasn't very good at the face-offs. You said, Peter, the face-off is more than just something to get the game to get going.
Oh, did I say that to him?
Yeah, yes, you said that to him. And his feelings were hurt after you said it.
Yeah.
And just to kind of tell you what kind of team you guys have, like Peter would come over to the house in the summer, go swimming like a couple times a week.
Well, yeah, to play tennis, and his wife, Diane, she used to come over. She'd give me tennis lessons. And
I remember we beat Philadelphia in double overtime or something. And she was waiting there. And I remember she was all alone. She said, great game, Grapes, eh? And I said, yeah. I said, I coached them again. And she hit me with her purse. I mean, she really hit me with the purse.
So there's one thing, though, I remember Peter McNabb was in the playoffs. Things were it was getting pretty rough. And Scotty Bowman put out his bully boys.
Oh, yeah.
And Peter was center. And you had O'Reilly and Wensink, but you pulled him, right? And put Stan on.
Yeah, and he said, it was the happiest moment of my life when I Stan, I said, go play center. Was Peter ever happy when he sang?
Yeah.
So who was their bully? Who was his bully boys? It was Bouchard.
Well, I have to think about that for a minute now. There was Robinson, there was Chatra, there was Lupien. That's 3.
Bouchard,
and Bouchard could throw him too.
Yeah, he was the one that was the fight. If you haven't seen that fight, Stan Jonathan, Pierre Bouchard, you Google it because that I think is the best fight ever in hockey.
Yeah, Oh boy, there was more blood. And then Terry O'Reilly went in to try to help or something, and somebody cut him with a stick. So there was blood everywhere.
Yeah, John D'Amico really got cut with a stick too.
Yeah, and he got cut bad with a stick too. I don't know how he got cut, but he got cut. Blood was all over the place. It was lovely.
Dad and Cindy, we'd like to thank our sponsor, NorthstarBets.com. It used to be Spreads.ca. Now it's NorthstarBets.com. It's still Canadian owned. It's still one of the best places to play in Canada. They have everything you're looking for: slots, live dealers, sports books, built-in sports betting insight, and analysis. And listeners who already have an account with Spreads.ca don't have to do anything. Just sign into NorthstarBets.com. And NorthstarBets.com has a new exclusive offer to our listeners. If you sign up and deposit with the promo Cherry, North Star Bets will match your first bet up to $100, and you get 100 bonuses. Spins on the big wheel, and quantities are limited, and it's not available in Ontario. And coming up, it'll be the Super Bowl. Who are you picking? You picking San Fran, or are you going to pick
KC? Everybody picks him, but
they're the underdogs, eh?
Yeah.
I thought that Baltimore would whomp them, and it wasn't even a contest.
Okay, so my 2 cents is, so Tokyo has promised that the concert of Taylor Swift will be on time, and she will make it for the game.
That's what they said, yep. I just said, Bettman kind of says, why couldn't Taylor Swift date Connor McDavid or something like that?
Wouldn't that be so? Imagine how exciting that would be for hockey.
She's going to fly over 15 hours and then fly back and do a show.
Yeah.
Oh, now that's love.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is love. I have to admit.
Yeah, well, they're putting bets. Will he propose to her after the game? I says, it depends if they win. If they lose, he's not going to propose to her.
Well, anyhow.
But anyway, we'd like to thank North Star Bets. They've been great for us, and they helped the Don Cherry Pet Rescue Foundation. And
okay, Dad, this is from Twitter. Mark Amos, if you could change only one rule in hockey, what would it be? And/or also, would you add another rule that you could think of?
No, I don't want. You got enough rules.
Got enough rules, okay.
Enough rules as it is. I would stay in the instigator rule.
Oh, yeah.
When you think of it, the guy he comes to the aid of the guy that is being pummeled,
start getting picked on.
He gets 2, 5, and a 10. 2, 5, and a 10. 2-minute, 5-minute major, and a 10-minute misconduct. And the other guy gets 5 minutes.
The thing is, Dad, if people don't know hockey, they see that as you protecting the superstars because they don't understand hockey. But it protects the superstars.
That's the one rule that I would change. The instigator rule, and it's a 2, 5, and a 10. It's
you better if you're lucky, because if a guy's a little rat and he turtles, he might not get anything. So then he
might not get anything. If you come to think of it,
I would add my 2 cents. I would add 2 rules. I would add number 1. I know this is they never do this. If you ice the puck 5 times, every 5 times you get a penalty.
You and Danny Galvin.
Well, we were watching the game, the 3-on-3 with the All-Star game. It was really good.
Yeah.
But you know why? Because there was a flow. There was no whistles.
Yeah.
And just the whistles kill the game. You know what I mean? And then the other one I would add is that you and Scotty Bowman did it in an exhibition game. You can only change on the fly or after a goal or a penalty.
The coaches wouldn't like it.
Oh, the coaches
wouldn't like it. But it would speed up the game, wouldn't it?
But the game was over in about an hour.
And I think, again, I think if you do that, it's easier to keep the stars away than from the checkers, right?
Yeah.
Because you just keep playing.
Just keep playing them.
Okay, Dad, this is a question from our friend Norm Oliver. He was the guy that got you involved in Cold FX, right?
Yeah.
And the whole deal. And, he lives in London, England now. And he has a question. Knowing that hockey players play hurt, as we all know, who were some of the players that you recall that having a high pain threshold and played hurt?
The guy I never appreciated, and I didn't know anything about it until my last year, is that Cashman. Cashman actually went in the hospital day of a game, and come out and played that night. Got 2 goals. I never forgot that. I didn't know anything about it, and what he used to do is to do up his skates. He couldn't bend over to do up his skates. He went in the dressing room and he had the trainer do them up, pull them tight. I didn't know that.
You said in the game 7 against Montreal that he they froze his back.
Yeah, his back.
Yeah, and he got 2 goals.
He got 2 goals. and he was in the hospital. He was in the hospital getting treatment on his back. And I didn't know anything about it. And that's who I would say.
What's your worst injury that you had that you played when you were hurt? Your broken toe?
Broken toe. One of the worst ones I had a cut just below the shin pad. And it was about a 6-inch cut. I don't know how it ever got in, my skate ever got in there. But anyhow, I had it frozen. And it broke open.
What a mess that would be. Oof.
Yeah.
And how much were you making a year? Probably?
$4,500.
Oh boy.
$4,500 a year.
So Dad and Cindy, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Vintage Tendy magazine. There's a magazine for goalies, by goalies. That's where they get the Tendy.
Beauty.
Yeah. They have a Boxing Day special, which is they're still extending because it's going so well. Use the promo GRAPES24 and you get 10% off your 1-year subscription. And the magazine it printed is quarterly, and it's got 60 full-page high-gloss color pages, and they're unbelievable.
They are. I've never seen the pictures before.
They are. They're almost each one's like a collector's item. Like they
are collectors.
And the offers runs 2 more weeks, and we'd like to thank them very much. And they're, as they say, they're one of the best hockey magazines or sports magazines out there. So we'd like to thank them for all their help.
Okay, Dad, one more question from Facebook. This is from Mark, and he asked, do you remember his father-in-law who played with you in Sudbury, Sam Petito?
I remember. No, Sam Petito. And he was one of the fastest guys I've ever seen in my life. And he could put in 25 goals. He'd be making about $8 million right now, at least $8 million. And boy, he could fly. He wasn't very big, but he could fly, and he was tough too. He didn't back down from anybody. And boy, he could put the puck in the net. Boy, he was good.
Yeah, I was kind of looking into that. He had 40 goals a year before.
Well, 40
goals. He was good. So that year you played Sudbury, right? And then the playoffs you played against your brother in Kingston. Yeah. Do you remember playing against Uncle Rich?
I remember playing against Uncle Rich. We sort of avoided each other. But I remember Tom McCarthy. I broke my stick over him, and I was standing there with just a stub of a stick, and there was Tom McCarthy. Tom McCarthy! And boy, was he tough. And he could put the puck in the net. He'd be making a lot of money now.
So your mother she never saw you two play against each other?
Well, I don't think she ever saw.
No.
We wouldn't have fought. I don't know whether Tom thought, well, you'd have to fight Richard if he went in the dressing room, or he just liked me. I hope he just liked me.
Okay, Dad, this is from Django89 on Twitter, and it says, hey, Don, longtime fan, got a question for you. Can the league support 34 teams? And because he's heard there's talks of Atlanta again, and then Salt Lake and Houston. And do you think this will further dilute the game? And if so, what do you think of Salt Lake City for a team?
I don't know anything about Salt Lake City. I knew everybody else, the rest of the team, but I didn't know Salt Lake City. It's got to dilute it. Back when I played, there was 6 AHL club, American Hockey League, 6 in the Central League, Central Hockey League, and 6 in the WHL, Western Hockey League. So that's 18, and they only carried 5 defensemen, and so it was a lot different. And now, I mean, the American Hockey League, how many does American Hockey?
I don't know how many. There's a ton. So that would be if they had 2 more teams. That's like taking 2 teams from the American Hockey League and bringing them up into the NHL.
We'd all be playing professional hockey.
That's when
in the National Hockey League. Well, we were professional hockey. We were getting paid.
Exactly, and that's when people say, "Oh, Don, you never played in the NHL." Well, if you did the math, all those leagues all you players would be in the NHL.
Yeah, we'd all be there, and we'd be making a lot of dough. And what more can I say?